have our Toastmasters.
This should be your first
We got
speech.
the color.
And this is what you're supposed to talk about. This is what they're going to be evaluating you on. This is the evaluating this is what you would do. This is what they're going to do. And these are the other ones too. Okay, so you can keep that. Okay.
Fellow Capital Captivators, this meeting of Tuesday, June 25th is officially called to order. We're going to keep to our timeline and our schedule and hope that members fill in while we're doing the pledge and some other beginning parts of our agenda. So at this point, please stand and we will pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will expedite through the whole guest process, as today we are all in-house members, which is wonderful. Inspirational thought. Today, I'm going to remind you of the mission of a Toastmasters Club. The mission of our club is to provide a positive and mutually supportive learning environment in which every one of us, every member is empowered to develop their oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn improves our self-confidence and enhances our professional development, hopefully to more opportunities. That's what we're all about. Yay! And it was just recently that I received my certificate for my CC, finishing my Competent Communicator Manual. I'm excited about that because now I'm on to leadership. We have more who are following. You're very close, aren't you, David? Yay! Toastmaster today is Mel Knox, and he'll probably be walking in, probably gathering some last-minute documents. Our joke master, our very own Kathy. Kathy, is it going to be about your vacation?
No British humor.
Oh,
German humor, if there is any.
there's a lot of that. Well, actually, today's going to be a blonde joke.
Yay.
One day, a blonde decides she wants to learn how to do some horseback riding. So she goes out and gets on a horse and starts riding. She's going along at a pretty good pace, and all of a sudden she starts slipping off the horse. Keeps going, keeps going. She grabs the horse's neck and hangs on, but she keeps slipping off. The horse doesn't even know what's going on. The horse just keeps galloping at a really steady pace. So she's hanging on, she keeps slipping. She tries to grab the horse's mane. No luck there. She keeps slipping off. Finally, she's almost on the ground, bouncing along. And just as she's about to lose consciousness, fortunately, Bob, the Walmart greeter, comes out.
That's cruel.
You must have known that.
Very good.
LT was busting up halfway through.
I remember, yeah, I said, okay.
That's an old one, I know.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's good in a pinch.
All right, team. Today I serve as your awe counter and grammarian. Part of that role is to come up with a word of the day. So I chose, where did it go?
It's
Cursory?
in front of the.
Right here.
Okay, great. Cursory. And the definition is a superficial or hurried preparation. So, of course, it's detrimental to any professional or organization to have cursory preparation. That is our word of the day. Yes. Timer. Today on the agenda, I will cross out J. And luckily, Toastmaster Brian has decided to fill in. Thank you very much. Our speaker today is David on the fast track to finishing his CC. Evaluating him is Kathy. Kathy, I see you have the manual there. Could you let us know which project number it is?
Wow.
We're doing 10, we're skipping 9.
Oh, perfect. Yay.
He's doing 10, he's skipping 9.
Okay.
Project 10 is to inspire your audience. The objectives are, David's going to inspire us by appealing to noble motives, and challenging us to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievement. And the title of his speech is...
It's the beginning of a community.
Okay,
Oh, I'm already in love.
that's good.
And I actually am doing this for DGS and need 15 minutes.
15, okay, we'll make that adjustment timer.
Okay.
That was easy. So time constraints, so 15-minute speech. Typically it would be 10 for speech 10, but per your request, 15 minutes. So at 13 minutes, you'll see the green sign color thing up there. At 14 minutes, we'll switch to yellow, and at 15 minutes, you will have the red, which will indicate that you have 30 seconds to complete.
Awesome. And the title of your speech is The Building of Community?
The beginning of a community.
Beginning of Community. David Bouyer. David Bouyer with the beginning of community.
I think they're good right there. I may need them once in a while. So the beginning of a community. I have been working with our local union reps, and I have been going over a lot of my personal concerns. And as I have progressed my 5 years through the state, I've noticed that there are some things lacking, namely the community of the union worker. So I need to start by telling you a little bit about my motivations, my personal story, and a promise I made. My motives are simply, as the name of the speech is, to start a community. I want to bring together the union workers from both sides of the equation. And when I say both sides of the equation, I've noticed that there is a huge divide between those who are full members and those who are not members. And so my first goal is to build a community where everyone is welcome. You know, my background is, I come from the private industry, and joining a union was new to me, and my perceptions going in were that a union is something that's used as weight by bullies. And you know, this comes from all the reading I've done about the Teamsters, you know, years ago in Chicago. And as I became part of the community, I started to, you know, try and look beyond the veneer of what this community is, what this community should be, and the weight that it possesses. And I've really come to learn that it truly is a community that is made up by the people. You know, you and you and you and you, we're all part of this community. Whether we're a member or not, we are stuck here. And for the better or worse, we need to look towards a common goal. And I came through and I started to think about these things, and I said, okay, well, our union isn't doing this, and our union isn't doing that. And, you know, like I said in the beginning, my perception of what the community should be was skewed. And after a few years of not getting the things that I wanted out of the community and not getting the results I wanted from the community, I decided, forget this. I'm not going to be a member anymore. I'm going to file non-germane objector. I'm going to really stick it to them. And for those of you who don't know, the difference between a non-member and a non-germane objector is pretty drastic, especially when it comes to the dues that you pay. And unfortunately, I discovered that those in charge really have a stigma against the non-germane objector. It is truly a slap in the face to file, and it is something that is taken very personally by the people who work hard to make sure that the train is on the right tracks. I remember the first month after I had filed, I went to the union meeting, the monthly meeting, and I was told flat out, I'm sorry, you filed non-germane objector. You can't be here. And I said, excuse me? And the argument went on for a few seconds and I left, and I went out and I printed out a copy of the Dills Act, which said, no, I have a legal right to be here. Even if I'm not a paying member, I have a legal right to be here and to hear what is being said. And I sat down over the next 24 months almost, and we talked. Specifically, Valencia and I talked. If any of you know our local rep, Valencia, yes? And I expressed my concerns, and mostly she sat and she listened. Sometimes she agreed with me, sometimes she didn't agree with me. Once she flat out put me in my place, just said, no, you're wrong. But eventually, she convinced me to make a promise. And I promised that I would join the union, become a full member again, and I would actually work my way into helping steer the ship. And I made this promise because over the 24 months of complaining and disagreeing, I came to realize that, the rumors that I had heard about blacklisting mostly aren't true. And, sure, that happens once in a while, and there are bad managers out there. But there are good managers out there, and mostly they want what we want. If we want a pay raise, then the managers are relying upon us to get it, because otherwise they don't get their pay raise. So it took me over a year to make my promise. It almost took me 2 years. So I set a goal of making a community. Bring member and non-member together. And I started by doing social media venues. It's something I know, it's something I can do fairly well. And because my focus has been on YouTube lately, that's the first step I took. I went to YouTube and I made a channel, and we actually call it SEI 1000 Workers. So you could actually go to youtube.com, SEIU 1000 Workers, and you could see the videos that have been posted. There's only a few so far, but they are community driven. I have videos of the rally going on, and then I have a series of 5 videos put out by 2 DGS employees. And they asked people to come to the rally in one video, actually in 3 of their videos. One person did one video, one person did another, and then they did one together, and they were asking people to come to the rally. But then they went and they told their story. And people paid attention.
That's all right, thank you.
And we all talked about it, and we decided we were going to make a dedication. We were going to dedicate our time, and we were going to search out people within the state who had opinions. Didn't matter whether they're member or non-member, didn't matter whether they're fair share or non-germane objector. We're going to go out and we're going to find these people, and we're going to give them their 15 seconds of fame. We're going to let them say what they need to say. So I have questions for you guys. Does anyone know what percentage of full members we have here at DCA?
When you say percentage, you mean percentage over what?
Out of all the DCA employees, how many of them are full paying members and how many are not members?
15% are full members.
15% are full members?
That's my say 75%.
75% are full members?
I have no idea.
Any other guesses?
40.
We're getting closest right there.
Oh,
50?
So maybe
It's about 50%. We are about half and half as to people who can vote versus people who can't. And first off, look around. This is a pretty good group of people, and I would love to see each and every one of you vote. I would trust your opinions. Who has a coworker that you would really, really not like to be the decision maker?
Yeah.
We could all think of some.
Think about it for a second. Only half of us out there are even able to vote. So who knows the name Ken Hamidi? Ken Hamidi tried to run a little coup d'etat. He tried to actually overthrow SEIU as our leadership. And he didn't make it.
Was that like a couple, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
I remember now, yes.
Okay. And he didn't make it because he couldn't form a community.
Mm-hmm, right.
And so does anyone remember what my motives are? Form a community. Am I going to try and establish a new rule?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Am I going to say SEIU, down with SEIU, boo? No, not yet. Probably not at all. I made my promise to Valencia. I told her that I was going to work on this, and I was going to give it my all. And I realized that this was going to be a commitment that needed to span 2, 3, maybe 4 years in order to really get a full swing, a full turn at bat, if you will. So why did we choose YouTube? There are benefits to videos and social media. Anybody share cat videos with their friends?
Dog?
Dog videos? Dog videos, yeah. We got one person in this room. I'll let the other, just plead the fifth.
I've had them sent to me.
But the point is, we need to let them have it their way. We need to find something that people find interesting. We need to find something that they believe is the truth. And we need to give them a way to share it. The expression going viral. I mean, let's face it. Things go viral because they're being shared. Same way diseases go viral. Anyone remember the swine flu epidemic? Hog flu?
Bird flu.
Bird flu? But it's a simple law of averages. Find something that people are willing to share. And if you put something out there that people don't like, then say la vie. And if you put something out that they do like, then say la vie. Our results for the videos that we put out, the 5 videos of the 2 DGS employees. In 24 hours, we got almost every video view that we've gotten to date in 24 hours. So that tells me that a whole bunch of people went out and they looked at stuff and they got all excited and then they didn't share it. You know, we had a community of just under 100 people, about 95. And within the first 24 hours, we got 18 out of 19 total views for Tanya's request for people to, or Tanya's story about rejoining the union. Tanya's plea for people to come rally got 85 views in the first 24 hours, and today sits at 89. So people are willing to share, but there is a timeline. And something that we need to go back and consider our dedication and really find the next story out there. The questions we need to ask ourselves: who found this relevant? My assumptions, just based off of a few tidbits of information, I'm willing to bet you only members were interested in these videos. We need to find something that connects to a non-member, get them involved too. What content do we need to expand? Well, that's the question. We need something that other people are going to be interested in also. And how do we reach new people? We keep creating content until we find the thing that everybody wants to share with everyone. Thank you.
Mel, you come on up now? I didn't want to leave him up here by himself.
I have arrived.
He had to go sit down.
Good job, Billy. Good job.
Andrew has to
Thanks,
sit down
LT.
here.
We're Andy.
See you, Andrew.
Fine, thank you.
Thank you. Well, excellent speech, Billy. Thank you very much for that. One point that I would just offer is, as we are here speaking, one thing that we have to keep in mind is that we are the gift to the audience. We are presenting information to them. Therefore, at the conclusion of our speech, from my experience, it's always a good idea not to thank the audience, because it is their privilege to hear you speak. Keep that in mind. A very interesting point. But I have arrived. Thank you very much for stepping in. Whomever it was, I believe it may have been LT.
Avis.
Miss Avis, thank you.
You're welcome. Got your back.
Indeed, ma'am. So let's move along. We now have the officer nominations and elections portion of our meeting to address. And it looks
Awesome, thank you. Toastmaster members and guests. One of the first things we like to do in a club is to acknowledge our guests. And we are blessed today to have with us, and your name?
Lori Eckman.
Lori, thank you so much for making it.
Thank you. It's my first time to
Hi, Lori.
Oh,
I'm just
Awesome.
turning down my phone so that I'm not rude.
Yeah, we forget sometimes.
Yes, and we're curious, if you don't mind, if you can let us know how you heard about us.
I work at Goodwill. I'm a financial planner.
Nice.
And in that role, I do a lot of teaching to low-income people. And I don't have a lot of experience in that. I don't have a lot of experience in speaking in front of people. And so my boss thought it would be a good idea for me to come to something like this and, I can't even say sharpen my skills, but develop my skills.
very good. Very good.
Fantastic.
That
Great to have you. Those are great goals, and I just want to let you know, as president, these are great people. So I think you walked in the right door today.
Thank you.
We're blessed to have you with us. On that same note, we're blessed not only to have each and every member, but it's a special honor when one of your members has to bow out for a time because they have on their plate so many obligations and new family. But then to come to the day where that member says, you know, I think things have slowed down enough and I want to be a capital captivator again. Today we are honoring that member, Brian Lynch. Brian, if you could come up to the lectern and be inducted. Member Brian has not only been dedicated as a member, but in many times has been called upon and served in a speech contest, one of the hardest, the humorous speech. When he was given 4 days, kind of a plea of, hey, we need somebody to represent the club. He not only, from my recollection, showed up for that, but he was in full uniform and props, and it was a delight, and it is just a delight to have you once again. May I put it on your collar, or do you want it on
You put
your?
it on the time.
Okay. They have updated their brand and official logo, so you have an updated member pin.
Cool.
Hopefully we'll be adding to that. And O'Brien. Well, Capital Captivators, it's that time of year again. We need to nominate and elect officers for the upcoming year. The Toastmaster year starts July 1st, so this is our last meeting before we are officially into that year. We don't want the district to know that we still haven't decided upon our officers. So we present to you today our nominations. For club president, we have Avis stepping up again. Thank you. If anybody would like to contest that, that's fine. We can put your name in because we haven't voted yet. We want to give everybody opportunities to enjoy an officer role. VP of Training and Education is Lieutenant Coopwood. We're blessed because he's served us before, so he's already read the manual, he knows, and it's great to have that background. VP of PR, our own Mel Knox. Mel has also decided that he could be secretary as well, so thank you for the dual 2 officer roles. VP of Membership, Lieutenant, were you still going to keep your name on?
Yes.
Okay, great. There's a lot of similarity between these two, and so it's wonderful that Lieutenant is going to have both of those roles. Treasurer, Kathy, did you put your name?
I did.
Ah, yes!
I'll give it a shot.
Very wonderful. And I'll pass on the stuff that Anita left.
Okay.
And Sergeant at Arms is Brian Lynch. We will show by raising our right arm whether we approve of this slate of officers. If you do not approve, please say nay. Those who approve the list of officers,
Yay.
yay, hey,
Yeah.
okay, great. It looks unanimous. Did anybody have any abstaining comments? No? All right, then here we are.
I don't know about the lieutenant guy.
Yeah, I know. I have a question. No.
Oh, it's all in the name. You lieutenant, it's just built in. That's great.
He's an officer.
Yes, officer first. Tabletop is Master Kathleen. Apparently Kathleen couldn't make it to our meeting today. What's that, Lieutenant?
I can do it here,
Okay.
if you want. Or we can just move right on to more club business, because I think you want to go into a little bit more about the officers' roles and
I
what we're gonna
do.
be pushing toward, right?
Yes, but Lieutenant, if you could lead us in 2, because with July 1st, the 4th of July, just around the corner, I think it would be a shame to miss on at least 1 or 2 impromptu speeches having something to do with the 4th of July.
Okay. All right, I'll just do a couple of quick ones, like Eva said. And she said Independence Day is coming. So, the thing for today is Independence Day, as you see at the top of your sheet. So, what I'd like someone to do is to volunteer to come up and tell us about fireworks. Fireworks is a big part of Independence Day. And sometimes fireworks can get out of hand, or almost get out of hand. Would someone like to come up and share a time in their past that they remember where fireworks kind of got out of hand? Oh, the time constraints on for the topics are?
It's a 2-minute speech, so at 1 minute, you'll get the green light. At 1.5 minutes, you'll get the yellow light, and at 2 minutes, you'll get the red light.
In this case, they're cars, not lights.
Well,
All right.
Well.
Mel, why don't you come on up since I saw your hand back there in the back
Yay.
and show our guests how it's done and give an impromptu speech about fireworks getting out of hand.
Indeed, I'm here too. Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, have you ever been to Mexico and bought a bag of M80s? I have. They look somewhat small, probably not as large as the height of this gavel, but they are powerful, let me tell you. I remember one day taking a bag, taking one out of that bag, lighting the fuse, putting it into a dumpster, and closing my ears and hearing that baby go boom. It was incredible. But sadly, my mom heard it. And she asked me, Mel, what was it? I had to confess that I did bring back some M80s from Mexico. By the way, I lived in San Diego at the time. It was nothing to walk across that border and pick up. So sadly, Mom told Dad. He made me destroy the M80s, took a big bucket of water and dumped all my M80s. I must have had, 20 or 30 of them in that bag. I would have had fun. Now, they are illegal, so Dad was right to force me to destroy them.
Oh.
But in the name of fun and independence and just excitement, it would have been nice to have them. So that is one example of how fireworks can go bad. Thank you.
You know, M8 is a small stick of dynamite. That's what they told me. And I have seen cherry bombs in M80. You're right, for a while. That's some crazy things.
And
Okay.
you were planning on destroying them anyway. Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm just trying
Keep
to...
it in the same theme of Independence Day. Let's stick with fireworks. One more. I'd like to get a volunteer, if anyone would like to come up and tell us about the most memorable fireworks display that they remember in their past. The most memorable fireworks display that they went to or that they caused themselves. Okay? Oh, okay. All right, Brian. Did you want to try one?
I try.
Oh, Lori.
Okay, Lori,
Let's
go
have
ahead.
Lori.
My hand, but sure, I'll
Yes,
try.
yes, okay, but you're not forced to. Now, this is up to you. It's
Okay.
kind of nervous up here, isn't it? But hey, do the best you can. You got about 2 minutes.
2 minutes, yes, sir.
You can go less than that, okay?
1 minute's
Your
fine.
most memorable
All right,
fireworks
so when I was a
display.
kid, my uncle lives in Phoenix, and we would go down to visit him once or twice a year. And my uncle's kind of a crazy sort of guy, a lot different from my dad, who was very quiet and engineer type. So my uncle, living close to Mexico, would go over there and get fireworks every once in a while. But he was also very paranoid, so he would hide them around the city in different storage facilities, so in case the police ever found him, they never found his whole stash. So when we had fireworks, we have to go to all the storage facilities to get the ones that he wanted. So one year we went in his Corvette to go to get all these different storage facilities and get fireworks. And we stopped at a gas station after we'd gotten all of them. And my sister and I are sitting in this little Corvette, and he's in getting gas. And something in the back of the Corvette started smoking. Oh, and I'm sitting here at a gas station with a bunch of illegal fireworks from Mexico in this little Corvette, no adult. And I'm thinking, oh man, we're in big trouble. So that's not the end of the story. He came and put it out, and it was fine, and we went to our fireworks. So we went into his backyard, and he has a pool, and on the diving board, he sets off the fireworks. Well, somebody called the police. So our most memorable fireworks was essentially fireworks that never happened because he set off one, someone called the police, we ran around the house turning off all the lights, hiding down low until the police passed, and that was our 4th of July.
Oh, wow. I tell you,
Delightful, yay!
the police, I'm surprised they showed up so quickly. I remember they had
Yeah,
a
I know.
helicopter.
Yes.
They usually don't get there that quick.
My uncle was a known quantity.
Long live the rebellion.
Yeah, you got staked out. You're gonna be ready for
Didn't
that.
take much to get the police there.
Well, I think, Brian, you were preparing to come up. Do you still want to come up, or are you okay?
I'm okay, because we have other
You're okay.
business.
Thank
just
you
wanted to
very
leave you
much.
hanging.
Thank you very much for not leaving me hanging. Avis, I'm going to
Yes.
turn it back over to you now, I believe, right?
Well, I'll be general evaluator because we still need an evaluation, so I'll come up.
Right. Oh, who's our general evaluator? Jay.
Jay,
Yeah,
she
Jay's
couldn't
not
make
here.
it.
Okay.
The evaluation team will consist of myself and Kathy as the evaluator of David's speech. Before we do that, we're going to call for our reports. May I have the timer's report on the table topics? Did we qualify?
They did for time, but I didn't hear the word of the day.
Which I forgot to tell everyone.
Cursory.
Try to use cursory, but I didn't.
Cursory. It's kind of a negative
That's
word
kind of
anyway.
useless.
So let's just, it's a downer, let's put it down. Screw it not, screw it.
Well,
On the 4th of
cursory
July.
preparation for it was kind of like on the spot, so.
That's right, we had a living example of what cursory is. Fabulous, we'll never forget that one. Great. I am the all-counter grammarian. We did pretty well with the English language today. I didn't see any ums. There may have been, yes,
Point of order,
yes.
we also evaluate the evaluators for timing and grammar. So we could do
Oh,
this
so I'll hold off on
after
that.
she completes her evaluation of the speech, then we can evaluate her as well.
Okay, on
Still
your
on the
agenda,
block.
please mark that and move it down after the evaluation of our speaker, because we're going to need to have it on all agendas going forward.
So I said point of order.
Yes. Right, may we have the timing constraints for our evaluator?
In 2 minutes, she will receive the green light. At 2.5 minutes, the yellow light, and at 3 minutes, the red card.
Captain.
Consistent lights.
Correct light.
Thank you for your evaluation.
Thank you. Do we do the time? Do we give David's time now?
No, you can do it right here. You can ask for it.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to give David's time.
His time was, met his time constraints, he was 15 minutes and 20 seconds.
Wow. That's
10 seconds to spare.
Yeah, I'm glad we got that. 15 minutes is a long speech.
Mhm.
Typically, our speeches are 7 minutes.
That's right.
So that was very good. Didn't seem like 15 minutes. It went very quickly. I love David's speech. One of the things I really liked about his speech is he told us what he wanted in the beginning. This is what I want to do. Then he told us why he wanted it. He made that very clear. But then again, he went back and reiterated, this is what I want. And then he described how he was going to go ahead and get what he wanted. That's when you went into the YouTube videos. And then you ended it with some long-term goals. And it flowed very well. It was very good. I think it was, when you talk about unions, it's a controversial type topic. And I think it's kind of like politics and religion. It's hard to talk about with people. And I noticed David does that a lot. He brings topics to us that seem to be controversial. You don't seem to mind getting into those. And I love that because most of the time I agree with you.
Uh-oh.
But I found it very interesting, and I think that you used some effective language. For example, you talked about unions and you used "wait" by bullies, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. You talked about things are not as they seem, which is when you look beyond the veneer, and so those were some good words that you used. You talked about being a non-germane objector. That was new to me. I learned something new. But when you said that doing this is like a slap in the face, that really put it into perspective for me. I wish I had known about this before. Where were you?
I will talk to you at length.
I'm not in the same union, but I just think that's incredible. I never heard of that. You talked about both sides of the union, the full members and the not full members, and it was interesting to find out how it was the 50-50 breakdown. That was very, very good. And that does speak to your topic in that there's a lot of people who are very complacent about things like that. So I could go on and on. I'm running onto the green card. But you did give us good reason to get involved, and how you did that was by your own experience. You talked about your experience and your 24 months or maybe a little less of what you went through with complaining and your issues. So that was very good. A couple things I would have done. I didn't know, I knew the handout was for this speech, but you didn't guide us through the handout. And I didn't even look at it as you were going through it. Would have been great just to say, hey, flip to this page or this page, maybe just guide us to use that. And just one other thing, you talked about the YouTube videos, maybe put the address or a way we can find it in there. I didn't see that.
It's on the first and
Oh.
last page.
Oh, sorry.
If I had guided you proper, or I guess it's not on.
No, it
Does
is.
it
I
put
looked
it
at
on
the
the last
bottom.
page?
It's a-
Okay, it is on the first.
Right there.
I meant to put it on the last as well.
Yeah, I looked in the body.
Okay.
I didn't even notice it on the cover. Sorry. But those are two things that are important to the audience to really utilize your handout. Other than that, just really great speech. Good for 15 minutes.
Good job, David.
Great.
And really, it wasn't too long because
I didn't think so
I
at
got to
all.
give this to DGS.
I didn't think so
Okay.
at all.
Very nice. I will jump into the portion of evaluating the grammarian's report. Again, nice use of the English language. Kathy, when you gave your evaluation, there were 3 or 4 ums. I noticed that when you evaluate, you are very focused on achieving our club mission, being very positive and mutually supportive. And in all of that energy to make sure that that message gets to our speaker, sometimes there isn't that pause. I think that's the only reason why you throw in that is you've got so much going on in your head of what you want to cover and how you want to do it, that you're not allowing yourself the space to take a break. A little bit of silence is okay. You can look down, see what your next sentence is, and just verbalize that next sentence only. It just shows how conscientious you are, though. Please time well. To be very supportive. Those were the only ums and clutch words of the day. Overall, our meeting was wonderful. We have officers who are stepping up. We made our goal of having officers that we can submit to Toastmasters International before the July 1st start of the year. We have a wonderful guest who has reasons to be here, who obviously already has skills in composure and would be a wonderful addition. Participated in our table topics. We have a little bit of work to do. It's still getting our message out to our existing members that when they know they're not going to be able to make the meeting, even if it's the last minute, to please send an email or contact somebody so that we have a little bit of heads up to get a replacement. Yes.
I know it's probably not important for everybody here, but your room number is incorrect on here.
Oh, really?
Oh.
This is 318 and it says 316, so it took me a while to find out where we...
Oh.
Yikes, we'll definitely
Have to
change
look that
that also. 318. All right, let's mature a little and go from sweet 16 to the full adult meeting.
Okay.
Voting members.
Yes, everyone. I will not return control to Mel because Mel, you're just going to walk up here and then, yeah. We could do that do-si-do another time. On to our business items. The executive committee met last week when we came up with some definite direction going forward. One of them is at our regular meetings, we will begin to read the Toastmasters Pledge, and hopefully for the rest of the membership, that'll remind them that we commit to participate at meetings, we commit to be prepared for those meetings, and we commit to communicate to other members if we're not going to make it. We especially loved our past practice. If you're on that schedule and you're signed a role and you're not going to make it, especially if you know in advance, it'll be the members' responsibility to contact their buddy members and say, hey, can you fill in for me while I attend a baby shower or whatever the reason may be. But to get that done before the last minute, because sometimes it's really hard to get somebody to fill in, especially to be prepared, if we're only emailed that morning. So we're going to go back to that practice. We do a good job of empowering our members because we have a membership that emails the agenda on Friday. And kudos to you, Mel, because you got that agenda out on Friday. It gives everybody a heads up. We have our schedules. Hopefully everybody has it hanging in their cubicle to review. But if you know on a Friday that, hey, it's not likely I'm going to fill that role, please don't just think it to yourself. And that's what we'll be communicating at the next meetings. We're also going to start passing out the ballots. A couple members have asked, hey, I heard that evaluation, but I had something I really wanted to say to that member. So for table topics and speeches, when you come into the room, we're going to have a ballot. And that way you can say your positive and learning comments to every speaker. And they'll get more
Excellent.
from everyone.
Excellent.
What else does, oh, and as our VP of Education and Training brought up at our executive committee meeting, we need to bring our leadership manuals. Yes, you can get a certificate for competent communicator, but we also have the goal of the leadership track. And that is even easier because you're already assigned your role. So just bring the manuals in. Lieutenant would like us to trust him.
Well, your new
Actually,
sergeant of
trust
arms.
him.
Right.
Brian.
Equally trustworthy as Brian. And they'll be kept in this box. You see there's plenty of room. And then it won't be up to balancing act and remembering on Monday night to pack it in the car or to bring it upstairs. It'll already be here. So please just make sure that you put your name on the front flap so we can easily identify whose manual is whose. And we will soon be getting awards for having those as well. That helps our Distinguished Club program. Clap to the club because we made Distinguished as we finished last year. July 1st also starts the new program. We are on track. David is about to get his competent communicator, and if we practice that habit of having our leadership manuals, we will quickly get even more goals attained, and we could probably be select, maybe even President's Distinguished Club. Who has their leadership manual today?
It also,
Oh, all right. We're also going to do the very... There's no way you can be a positive and mutually supportive club if you do not give rewards to volunteers
Thank you.
who
okay, bribes.
are taking on...
Thank you.
Oh, actually, there's also a baby Ruth or a... Okay. That might be better. Some people like
And I think
that.
our guest deserves.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I'll switch it.
And for Lori, for braving and finding the right door and choosing our door.
And letting us know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Also
Yes.
with the communication track,
Mhm.
competent communicator, and then advanced communicator bronze, communicator silver, and gold. And then on the competent leadership, advanced leadership bronze and advanced leadership silver qualifies you to be distinguished Toastmaster.
And that's
So if you take
fantastic.
take the two tracks together to become a distinguished Toastmaster.
Very good. That helps everybody with their professional development.
As shown on page 77 of the
On page 77, perfect. You can mark that. Does anybody else want a leadership track, competent leadership that
I would like one.
available?
Please.
Yeah, so you can,
Thank you, Madam President.
you're welcome. Have your own records as well as ours.
Exactly. You can go where you can track your own progress too.
I will end with one last thing. We have the club leadership manuals for our new officers. which is just about everybody.
Does that come with a candy bar?
Bless you. Oh, that'll come with better rewards in the future meetings. There's one left.
I guess we'll be meeting that workshop
Myself.
at another meeting.
I'll be there.
We should do that opinion meeting so we have more energy and sugar in the system.
Okay, that'd be good.
I don't know.
I think your boss will appreciate
Well,
it
yeah,
when you
you-
leave the meeting.
Hold on.
Alrighty, thank you very much for being a part of our meeting today and a part of our membership. I wish everyone a fabulous 4th of July, because just like our founders, you're not only participants, but you're leaders in what our future's gonna be.
All
Get
right,
a chance to
folks.
write in our guest book.
I signed my name in.
Oh, okay.
Mel's book too. I
have
think.
that, we
Mel,
have that.
You have the leadership book?
I do have my leadership book. Do you want to hang on to it? Actually, what I was going to do was print out a label, put my name on there.
Oh.
Can you do that?
I see.
Okay.
I
Next
didn't
time.
see that.
Because they do stay with the sergeant at arms? or-
Well, we leave them in the-
We'll leave them in the box.
In the box.
Okay,
That way they'll be here when you come.
okay, that's a great idea.
Did anybody see some papers on this chair I had? They
Yes.
welcome the Captivators flyer for Lori.